YouTube is a huge platform for creativity, where people create masterpieces and take actions worthy of attention. Unfortunately, there are also creators who misuse the right to freedom of expression, causing harm to children with their content.
And again, I'll repeat it for the idiots. You don't deserve an apology for being groomed.
Camila Cuevas, an animator with over 1.5 million subscribers, defends her friend
PDF file
and calls her audience idiots, becoming one of the most disliked animators in the Undertale fandom. Wondering how it got to this point? Let me tell you. A Chilean artist, animator, and YouTube creator. She was born on May 13th, 1995 in Chile. Her real name is Camila Alejandra Cuevas Zapata. She rose to fame through her fan animations based on the game Undertale, and later gained recognition for her original projects as well. It all began in 2015 when she started posting fan art and short animations based on the game Undertale. This eventually led to the creation of an entire animated universe called Glitchtale, an alternate storyline inspired by the original game, but with its own world building, drama, and action. All in all, it's worth mentioning that the legendary Underground is about to turn 10 years old, and it's given rise to fan-made masterpieces like Stronger Than You, ECHO, A Beautiful Day Outside, and tons of other content based on this iconic game. But let's get back to Camila. The first episode of Glitchtale was released in 2016 and quickly went viral. Camila didn't just copy the world of Undertale, she created a full-fledged animated saga with original character development, new heroes, and a dark, dramatic atmosphere. Many fans consider it the best Undertale interpretation on YouTube. By 2020, Camila had reached a peak of success, earning widespread recognition and the love of her audience. Around that time, another creator named Hopeless Peaches came into the spotlight due to ongoing struggles with her mental health. She had a pattern of posting provocative tweets that read like goodbyes, which caught the attention of a commentary YouTuber known as Prison Mate Luke. He released a video accusing Peaches of manipulating her audience with these tweets. Camila Cuevas joined in, publicly supporting Luke's take and accusing Peaches of lying about her mental illness. That same day, Peaches released a shocking document detailing a past collaboration with Camila, in which they worked together on a video and a poster. However, Peaches received no compensation and was upset that another creator was profiting off her work. The conflict seemed to be resolved when Camila took down the sales, but the very next day, Peaches published a post shedding more light on the situation. Naturally, this didn't reflect well on Camila. She had, after all, decided to monetize the project without Peaches' consent. On top of that, she was reportedly mocking her former friend in a Discord server. As public backlash grew, Peaches deleted her channel and essentially ended her online career. Let's keep going. In 2022, the Vare era began, Camila's collaborator on the second season of Glitchtale. As the series' success skyrocketed, Vare was exposed for asking girls for photos and having disturbingly inappropriate conversations with some boys, often steering the topic toward intimate matters. A user named Crystal Fame published a conversation with Camila in which he presented himself as a victim and suggested Vare should be removed from the project. Camila, however, brushed it off with a joke and turned a blind eye. To make matters worse, one of Vare's victims wrote to the exposer and claimed that no one was to blame but herself, saying people shouldn't attack the animator. Crystal calmly responded, reassuring her that she was a victim and that he would pursue justice to the end. As more YouTubers raised alarms and called for accountability, the backlash grew intense. Camila went silent for 10 months. Eventually, she released a lengthy response addressing everything that had happened over the year. Unsurprisingly, she shifted the blame onto those involved in the chats, ignoring her own inaction regarding her friend's behavior. On top of that, she brought up the death of a loved one in an attempt to justify herself. And then came the now iconic phrase that effectively destroyed her career.
And again, I'll repeat it for the idiots. You don't deserve an apology for being groomed.
Alan Becker is an American animator, artist, and YouTuber. He was born on May 18th, 1989 in Dublin, Ohio, USA, and studied animation at Columbia College, Chicago. Alan Becker rose to fame thanks to his iconic flash animation Animator vs. Animation, first published in 2006 on Newgrounds. In it, a stickman comes to life and starts fighting back against the animator using the computer's interface, like the browser, programs, and even Windows itself, as weapons in the battle. Honestly, I remember seeing those animations as a kid and even sharing them with friends. To us, it felt like watching a high-quality movie or cartoon. Even now, I'm still subscribed to his channel and often catch his shorts where he plays around with current trends. The idea went viral, millions of views during the Flash era, making the project legendary in the world of internet animation. Since 2015, Alan began working on Animator vs. Minecraft, where the Stickman and his friends are thrown into the world of Minecraft while still interacting with the Windows interface. The series became a massive hit. Each video consistently pulls in tens of millions of views even today. On top of that, he runs a second channel where he posts animation tutorials, which honestly feels incredible. He's not just making a living on the platform, he's helping others grow and improve their animation skills. Massive respect. While Alan worked solo for a long time, he started building a small team in 2020. He regularly hires other artists and animators, often discovering them among his fans. Some of them were total beginners, and he gave them their very first paid opportunity in the industry. He's also known for creating official animations for Mojang. Personally, I see Alan as an animation icon and a perfect example of how far passion and dedication can take you in this field. Mr. Browza is a Filipino creator whose real name, birth date, and even gender remain undisclosed. The channel launched in 2020 and, to many, felt like a near copy of Teleperte, a topic we actually covered in a previous video, so make sure to check that out. Back to the point, the animations, art style, and even the erotic tone are strikingly similar, following a formula popular among certain animators. The channel description thoughtfully includes a disclaimer, not for kids. Of course, that's there to fend off criticism, especially since many creators in this niche have already been called out by commentary channels and moral critics. And it's clear these animations aren't made for children. The content often carries a sexual undertone and in some cases ventures into even weirder territory. But when a creator claims their content isn't for kids, it's strange to see characters like Ben 10 and other childhood icons appear in their videos. Naturally, children will click on those thumbnails, which prominently feature familiar faces. And once they see what actually happens in those animations, it can seriously mess with their minds. We've talked before about how dangerous this is. Producing content like this clearly crosses a line. Freedom of expression ends where another person's rights begin. The creator obviously profits heavily from these videos, especially due to the eye-catching, provocative thumbnails. And honestly, it's hard to ignore what's going on when you're faced with those kinds of images. While Mr. Browza has faced criticism for copying Teleperte's style and for producing overtly adult content, it's only fair to point out the consistent upload schedule and the solid animation quality. The channel feels like a kind of visual diary, showcasing the creator's evolving skill set. I'm not here to outright condemn the creator. After all, many others are doing similar things, but I'd love to know your thoughts. What kind of reputation do you think this creator deserves? Jaden Ditfok, known worldwide as Jaden Animations, was born on September 27, 1997 in Arizona, USA. From a young age, she was passionate about drawing, digital art programs, and YouTube. Her journey into animation started long before launching her own channel. She initially worked behind the scenes for other creators, including animating for iHas Cupquake. It was a quiet beginning, nobody knew her name yet, but even then, her unique style and natural rhythm stood out. She created her own YouTube channel in February 2014. At first, Jaden released short, slightly awkward, but heartfelt stories, hand-drawn and narrated in her own voice. She talked about school memories, anxiety, insecurity, perfectionism, and life as an introvert. These topics instantly resonated with viewers. Her minimalist, cartoon-like art style, with a clear personal touch, amplified the honesty and vulnerability in her storytelling. Year after year, she grew as a creator. Her videos became more polished, her storytelling deeper, and her editing sharper. Yet she stayed true to herself. No unnecessary drama, no chasing trends, just authenticity. Jaden Animations quickly rose to fame, and by 2020, her channel had become one of the biggest in the animation community on YouTube. She was featured in YouTube Rewind 2017 and 2018, making history as one of the first animators ever invited to participate. In 2022, Jaden released the video Being Not Straight, where she openly shared that she's aromantic and asexual, meaning she doesn't experience romantic or sexual attraction. It was a bold move, especially with such a large audience, but she didn't dramatize it or hype it up. She just calmly and respectfully spoke her truth. Later, in 2024, she revealed that she had been diagnosed with autism and ADHD. Once again, not for attention, but to help normalize conversations around neurodivergence and mental health. And now, here's the big one. Jaden appeared in MrBeast's 50 YouTubers Fight for $1 million video. She planned to drop out in the very first round, but she made it all the way to the final and won the $1 million prize. Then, she did something incredible. She invested $600,000 into funding art education for as many aspiring artists as possible, and gave the remaining $400,000 to other creators so they could do the same for their own communities. That's not just the journey of a great animator, it's the story of a truly remarkable human being. But what do you think? Melba! Melba is a character and Australian gacha tuber active primarily on YouTube Shorts and TikTok. The channel was created on March 29th, 2022, with the first video going live the very next day on March 30th. Her content typically features short animations where the character Meowba speaks in a mix of English and intentionally broken Japanese. She quickly became infamous for deliberately provoking outrage, offending practically every religion, minority group, and even moral guardians online. From the very beginning, she was heavily criticized for her overly sugary voice and for copying the style of another animator, Jelly Bean. In fact, Jelly Bean once asked her audience who Meowba was, only to be flooded with toxic comments, later saying she regretted even bringing it up. Meowba responded by insulting her on Twitter after being blocked. Things only escalated from there. On the first day of Ramadan, Meowba posted a statement declaring she would defeat Allah, an incredibly offensive and inflammatory claim. Unsurprisingly, this sparked a flood of threats and backlash from religious users. As if that weren't enough, she also made comments mocking the war in Ukraine, despite most Western audiences standing firmly in support of the country. It didn't stop there. She once encouraged fans to write her name on their hands and send photos in the chat, a stunt that could actually lead to criminal consequences depending on the jurisdiction. Of course, she just laughed it off. One of the most shocking moments? When she listed absurd conditions for being unbanned from her Discord server, which included getting on all fours, drinking milk, saying "I love Meowba," and apologizing. Yep, seriously. She even went after Minecraft legend Technoblade, posting about him after his death, claiming she was against using the deceased for clout, before turning around and doing exactly that. She then created her own religion, which mocked Islam and positioned herself as some kind of divine idol. As one final act of trolling, she deleted all her offensive content and uploaded a sincere apology video, only to immediately call herself a god and demand to be worshipped right after. Classic bait and switch. Looking at the whole picture, it's pretty clear that Meowba is one long-running trolling campaign designed to farm outrage and attention. And guess what? It works. Millions still fall for it, and she continues to pull stable views on TikTok. Honestly, some of her dance trend videos, taken out of context, are actually kind of catchy. But what do you think of this character? Master Troll, Internet Menace, or something in between? The channel Oversimplified is run by animator and YouTuber Stuart Webster. While little is known about his personal life, it's believed that he's an Irish American who, as of 2025, is around 31 to 32 years old. The channel launched sometime between 2016 and 2017 and quickly gained popularity thanks to its unique approach to teaching history. Oversimplified specializes in educational videos covering historical topics, from World War I and II to revolutions, smaller conflicts, mini-wars, and biographies like that of Henry VIII. The videos are presented as animated narratives, with the core idea being making complex events easy to understand. His use of humor, fast-paced storytelling, and exaggerated visual style makes history approachable, even for those who've never shown interest in it. Instead of detailed characters, he uses simple stick figures, maps, and memes to break down events, striking a perfect balance between simplified delivery and academic accuracy. A few years ago, Reddit users started asking, what happened to this channel? It's like it vanished. That impression came from the long gaps between uploads. However, between 2024 and 2025, new episodes, including releases on the Punic Wars, proved that the channel is still very much alive, just working at its own pace. In my opinion, creators like this are absolute gold in the content world. Thanks to them, millions of people are able to learn complex subjects in a fun, engaging way, something I could have only dreamed dreamed of as a kid. Honestly, if YouTube and creators like these had existed earlier, I might have ended up in a completely different career. Once again, I want to hear from you. What do you think about the creators featured in this video? Do they deserve their reputations, or is it time to take a closer look? Make sure to hit like and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next one.